Hey super friends, welcome back to another video with Miss Choice. Today we are going to focus on adding and subtracting angle measures, which is going to be unit 15-5. So of course what you'll need for today's lesson is your math notebook, pencil to write down your notes, and of course always and never forget it, that brain of yours. Stay tuned for the video. All right, super friends, we are working on 15-5, which again is add and subtract angle measures. We are going to be doing the buddy practice independent questions, and it's going to be very similar to what you will be doing on your own. The numbers will probably just be different. So make sure you're paying attention to how I'm solving everything and make sure you're taking your notes. All right, friends, this question says use the diagram. Write and solve an addition or subtraction equation to find the missing angle measure. Answer the problems below. So this is our picture that we have here. I will zoom in on it. So I got a little bit closer. This first question says, what is the measure of OGH if HGK measures 20 degrees? So now let me go ahead and kind of label out OGH. OGH is this one. And then it says if HGK measures 20. So HGK will be this one. And this one says 20 degrees. So if that's the case, they want to know what is this measure going to be. Now, before I did all the drawing, you can see that the OGK, the whole thing here, was a right angle. So if that's the case that we're working with, then we know that our full thing is not dealing with 180 degrees, it's dealing with 90 degrees, which is our right angle here. So I will start by having my 90 degrees minus out my 20 degrees that I already know I have to get my final degrees of what I need, which I know 90 minus 20 equals 70. So let's make sure if I'm correct or not. We are correct. Moving on to the next question, it says, what is the measure of NGO? So NGO if PGN measures 60 degrees. So we have PGN measures 60 degrees. Now again, remember the fact that this OGK over here was a 90 degree angle. I know that OGP doesn't have a 90 degree angle measurement here, but 180 minus 90 degrees is 90 degrees. So I'm assuming that since this broke it up, that this is another 90 degrees over here. So now we're just seeing how is that 90 degrees split up this way. So far, again, they said that our PGN is going to be 60 degrees. So if that's the case, this is my 60 degrees over here, and I'm trying to see what the rest of it is. So now, just like I did for question number 4, let me get my 90 degrees. Thank goodness I figured out that it was 90 using that symbol that they gave us, minus the 60 degrees that they told me about. And I know that 90 minus 60 equals 30 degrees. So that NGO is going to be 30 degrees. Let me check my work. Good job. Moving on. All right, the next part of our question says, use the angle measures you know to write an equation to find the angle measure of PGK. Find the angle measure of PGK. What kind of angle is PGK? Choose the correct equation. Let n be the measure of PGK. Now, I'm going to draw this out just so that we can see, but PGK is right here, and it looks to me like a straight line. So if that's the case, guys, what do we know about a straight line? It equals 180 degrees. So all these little angles inside PGK, so this little angle, this angle, this angle, this angle, all those angles, if we add them up, need to equal 180. So let's go ahead and solve all of these to see which one gives us 180. No offense to option A, But option A has some subtracting going on, which doesn't make any sense to me. But I'll go ahead and solve them just to see what's up. So if I did 60 minus 30, that will give me 30. 30 plus 70, that'll give me 100. 100 minus 20, that'll give me 80 degrees. That doesn't make any sense. So PGK cannot be 80 degrees right now. So no thank you to A. Let's look at B. B says 30 plus 70 plus 20. Now, when they gave us all of our other options, I know we had 20 degrees here, we had 70 degrees here, we had 30 degrees here, we had 60 degrees here. That doesn't work for us. They're missing something. So B is no. They're not even giving us all the measurements. C has all the ones that I noticed. I know we had 20 and then we subtracted it from 90 and that gave us 70. I know we had 60, we subtracted it from 90 and that gave us 30. So let's add those all up just to see if it'll give us 180. And if it does, then that's the answer we want. 60 plus 30 is 90. 70 plus 20 is 90. 90 plus 90 is 180. So yes, C is 180, and that's exactly what we're looking for our degrees. Let's check our work. We are correct. So of course, the last measure or the last question, it says, what is the measure of PGK? We could have done this without us adding that all up because we know that PGK is a straight line and a straight line is 180 degrees. We are correct. Another part of this question, PGK is a straight angle. Again, we are correct. Which two non-overlapping angles that share a ray can make an obtuse angle? Non-overlapping angles make an obtuse angle. Use addition to explain. So two non-overlapping angles that share a ray making an obtuse angle are these options, and then it says the sum of the angle measures are this. Okay. Remember, we're looking for obtuse. So let's think about obtuse. We're not thinking about straight right now. We're thinking about obtuse. So NGO and OGH. Let's look at that. NGO, OGH. And that's not looking like an obtuse to me. But just as I remember, this is a 30 degree. Let me label that for us so we remember. This one was 60. This one was 30. This one was 70. This one was 20. Okay. Now, looking at the options, they said 30 and 70. That is obtuse. That gives us what? 100. If we add these together, it gives us 100 degrees. Okay, so that's an option. I'm liking our first set. Let's look at NGO and HGK. NGO, HGK. 30 plus 20. That's only giving us 50. That's still an acute. That won't work for us. Let's look at the next option. OGH and HGK. OGH, HGK. If we add these together, that gives us a 90 degree. That's not an obtuse. That's a straight, sorry, that's not a straight line. That's a right angle. That won't work for us. If we add those together, that's going to be 90, and that's going to be a right angle, not an obtuse, because we're looking for obtuse. Let's look at our last option, PGN and NGO. PGN, NGO. Again, that's another 90 degrees, which will be another right angle. That's not what we want. The only obtuse that we had was the 100 degrees, and that was NGO and OGH, these two that we added together. Let us check it. Oh, it gave us 100 because we added it. Let's check our answer. We are correct. All right, super friends, the next question we have says Raul earns 68 cents for bottles he returns. If he gets 4 pennies for each bottle, how many bottles does Raul return? Draw a diagram to represent how to solve the problem. So, first off, let's go ahead and write our 68 cents like an actual decimal, which is going to be 0.68. Remember, that's 68 cents. Now, 4 pennies. What decimal is that? 4 pennies means that it's 4 over 100, which means that it's 0.04, 4 hundredths. So that is going to be 0.04, and that's for our pennies. So he earned 68 cents for the bottles that he returned, but each bottle was 4 pennies. So that means, guys, for our total number of bottles, we are seeing how many 4 cents can we get out of the 68 cents. I will show you exactly what equation each of these is showing us. So this first one is saying that you're doing your N divided by your 4 cents, and that equals 68 cents. That's not true. That doesn't even make sense. B is showing us N divided by our 68 cents, which equals our 4 cents. That, again, doesn't make sense. Let's look at C. C is saying 68 divided by our 4 cents gives us the number of bottles that we need. That makes the most sense. Sorry, that last part looks horrible. 68 cents, and that's a 4. C says our 68 cents divided by the 4 cents equals our number of bottles, which is exactly what we need. D says 4 cents divided by 68 equals number of bottles. That's not true. 4 cents divided by 68 will give us a small decimal. We need a whole number, not a decimal. So it was close, but not too close. The only one that was actually close was C. And let's check our answer. We didn't even have to solve this one, really. We just had to think about it and choose which one gave us the correct equation. We are correct. Now let's figure out exactly which that number is. They did trick us. I thought we were done and we didn't have to solve it, but we do. However, 68 divided by 4 is not too challenging, so I'm okay with it. So 68 divided by 4. How many times is 4 going to 6? 1 time. So let me get my 1. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract it out. I get 2, and I bring down the 8. So now I have 28 divided by 4, which I know is 7, because 7 times 4 is 28. So then I subtract out the 28 that I got, and that equals 0. So how many bottles are we working with? 17 bottles. That's how many he returned. Let's double check our answers. We are correct. This question says 5 angles share a vertex. Each of the angles has the same measure. The sum of the measures of the angles is 190 degrees. What is the measure of one angle? So basically, guys, remember, there's a lot of words that I wanted to underline here. That gives me a little hint as to what I'm doing. First and foremost, that word share. Anytime I see that word share, and then it says like even or the same measure, something like that, that means I'm doing division. So I'm dividing what? I'm dividing 5, obviously. 5 and something else. What's the only other thing that it gives me? 190 degrees. So because I'm sharing the vertex and each angle has the same measurement, I'm going to divide. So I have my 190 divided by 5. And let's get started. How many times does 5 go into 1? It goes into 1 0 times. So now I'm bringing down my 1 and then the 9. How many times does 5 go into 19? That's going to give me 3 times. It would have given me 4 if it was 20. But 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract it out. 19 minus 15 gives me 4. Bring down my 0. How many times does 5 go into 40? I know that factor. That's 8. So now I'm subtracting out that 40, and I have 38 degrees is what it is. Each angle is 38 degrees. Let's check ourselves. We are just so smart. All right, super friends, our last question that I'm going to help with today is going to be this one. So it says, Mizuzu uses pattern blocks to make a design. She puts 5 pattern blocks together. As shown in the diagram, the measure of ECD is 30 degrees. Name all the 90-degree angles shown that have a point of C as the vertex. Vertex, guys, is basically saying where's that angle going to hit. So it's like the middle angle. You see how like all of these have the C in the middle? That's the vertex. So it's like any part of an angle, that is the actual angle. That is the vertex. Vertex. So I'm going to go ahead and look for all of the 90 degrees. So let's see. So far, so that's what vertex means. And looking at our shape, what I want to do is just figure out which part of these things gives me a square corner like I need to for a 90-degree angle, which is a right angle. So far, I see that I have a square right here. So I'm going to see which parts give me that square. So far I know I see GCD. GCD gives me that square. I'm trying to be very accurate. Okay, another one that gives me that square. It looks kind of sideways, so let me use a different color so you guys could see that. But HCE gives me it. So HCE. Sorry, I went a little overboard, but that does give me another square angle. And then the last one that I see is, where is it? It's BCF. BCF here. That gives me it. So those are our 3 that I see. So with that being the only one, guys, let's look at our options. If we did ECD automatically, if we looked at this right here, ECD, that's giving us an acute angle. So that's no. Let's look at B. B says GCD. GCD. Yep. HCE. HCE. Yep, that's the purple one. BCF. BCF. That's another purple one, or that's the red one. Now, let's say if you're not Miss Choice and you don't know how to find these angles. Thankfully, these give you options. So all you have to do is just look them up yourself, like draw that option out for yourself just to see if it gives you that right angle. If it doesn't, then that's not what you want. So far, B is something that we like. So let's look at the rest of them just to be sure. FCD. What does that say? FCD. Nope, that's not a right angle because it's a little smaller than that. So automatically C is crossed out. Let's look at D. D shows HCD. HCD. That's a little bigger than a right angle. That's like an obtuse angle. So B looks like the only option. Let's check our answer. We are correct. Thanks again, super friends, for checking out this video. Hopefully you learned some math tips and tricks that will help you with adding and subtracting angle measures. Feel free to like the video if you did learn something and subscribe to my channel if you'd like help with any upcoming lessons. Feel free to make today a great day or not. The choice is up to you. Until then, guys.